Hello, I'm Jim Leape. I'm currently on the faculty at Stanford University in California, and I am, like all of us, now working through Zoom, but very happy to have a chance to meet with you through this medium. And in particular, have a chance to talk about what the Foundation has done over the last 15 years to advance the cause of conservation in the ocean and beyond. This is an important moment, and I think important to reflect upon how conservation gets done today. When the US environmental movement began 50 years ago, the focus was on legislation and regulation. Fundamentally important statutes were put in place, like the Clean Water Act and the Clean Air Act, the Endangered Species Act. And they were put in place with overwhelmingly bipartisan support. The Endangered Species Act passed the Senate by 92 to nothing. Those kinds of measures, legislation and regulation, are still essential, but in recent decades, we've faced much more profound challenges that go to the very heart of our existence. How do we produce the energy and food that we need? And challenges that are enmeshed in an increasingly globalized world. We're affecting global systems like the climate and the ocean. And everything we do is bound up in a globalized economy, and therefore trade flows and trade wars are shaping both what's possible and what pressures we face. And so today we have to find ways to move whole sectors to sustainability at a time when governments are often struggling to do what's important for our long-term prosperity. And to tackle these challenges, we cannot just rely on legislation and regulation. We have to find ways to mobilize action on multiple fronts at once. So that means engaging a wide range of actors in diverse collaborations. It means engaging policy change and change in markets. It means working on the ground and finding ways to catalyze change in broader systems that enable those on-the-ground successes to go to scale. So one important ingredient for the success of the sustainable seafood movement has been the deep and enduring collaboration among the three principal funders: the Walton Family Foundation, the David and Lucille Packard Foundation, and the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation. And those teams have worked together over the last 15 years in an exemplary way to make sure that they are coordinating their grant making so that the full set of initiatives that need to be underway get the funding they require, and to help, when needed, to sort out tensions or conflicts among the actors in this space to help them all move forward more powerfully together. So in that context, foundations are particularly important because foundations have unique roles to play in helping society come together around these challenges. You can enlist and enable the whole range of actors who are needed to solve a problem, and you can help them work together more effectively. And you can also, unlike any other source of capital, take big risks, or more than any other source of capital. You can take big risks and you can see them through. And what I've seen over the last 15 years is the Walton Family Foundation making the most of those strengths as it works in environment. And I take particular interest, of course, in the work in fisheries, because here you have built a movement in which conservation groups, companies, fishers, communities, governments are all working together to create a sustainable future in the ocean. And there are many dimensions to that, and we don't have time to talk about all of them, but let me highlight a few. I mean, one is that the foundation is playing a completely central role in creating the breakthrough solutions that are important to meeting the challenge of sustainability in the ocean. One, of course, leading example is certification. Your steadfast support to the Marine Stewardship Council over the last 15 years has been completely critical to its ability to become an important market actor, right? And now to expand its impact to reach fisheries in developing countries, to reach consumers in emerging markets. And let me note here that the company itself has played a pivotal role in this story. Walmart's commitment to MSC in 2006 was literally the inflection point in the rise of certification to market importance. You've also played a similarly central role in another breakthrough solution, which is catch shares, because your sustained commitment to piloting catch shares has turned a powerful idea into a revolution in fisheries management, empowering fishers as stewards of their own resources. So that's one crucial role that the foundation has played, is finding those breakthrough solutions, and as they show promise, taking them to scale. I think a second is actually helping to forge the partnerships that are needed to make progress in a domain like this. And so that's supporting NGOs who are focused on working with companies and working with fishing communities to help them move to sustainability. It's also about supporting pre-competitive collaboration within the industry, such as the International Seafood Sustainability Foundation, which brings together all the tuna canners to help them join forces in driving change in their own sector. A third dimension that's been important to what you've done is working in specific fisheries, because the foundation has supported efforts in many different parts of the world that are important in themselves, so achieving direct impact in those important places, but also through their successes are creating proof points for broader application of the solutions that they've been demonstrating. And finally, I think it's often underestimated or under-recognized, but this foundation, with Packard and more, has played a central role in helping these grantees coordinate their efforts. So that in fact, the result has been that these grantees across the spectrum of the NGO community and beyond have been able to accomplish much more together than they could have on their own. I think two of the things that have set the foundation apart in its investment in work on fisheries have been, number one, its commitment to supporting market strategies for driving change in this sector. That commitment's not unique. You've done it in tandem with the Packard and Moore foundations, but it does set you, the three of you, apart from the rest of the field. And it's been centrally important to actually finding ways to make progress in this very complicated sector. And the second is that as you've looked at that, you've recognized the global dimensions of the seafood sector. The fact that 90% of the seafood eaten by Americans is imported is significant, right? It means that no matter what your geographic focus, one has to be thinking about how the overall sector works and where the points of leverage are for driving change. So that's, to me, the story of what the foundation has done in fisheries over the last 15 years. It's a remarkable story. And I see a similar story taking shape in the work that you do on agriculture. Because here, again, you are investing in breakthrough ideas and in demonstrating what can be done on the ground in specific places, while then also supporting coalitions of actors from across the supply chain who are driving action in their businesses and who are also pressing for reforms in the Farm Bill and other legislation that can ensure that federal programs are actually rewarding better practice. And this is, for me, the future of conservation. This is what conservation looks like today. It is all hands on deck, and it is multiple actors finding ways to join forces. And a foundation can be, and in your case, is the catalyst for that kind of impact. So these two initiatives I know are illustrative of a broader program, both in environment and beyond. But to me, I just want to say, I mean, you are here playing an absolutely central role in addressing one of the crucial challenges of our time. And that is, how do we find ways to produce the food we need while conserving the vital natural systems upon which we all depend? And for that, I thank you.